The Ram 1500 TRX is coming back next year to give you a way to tear up the dirt, but there's a Ram you can buy today that was designed to tear up the street. Ram discontinued the 702 horsepower TRX in 2024 when it tried to get rid of all the V8 engines in its 1500 pickups. That didn't stick. It's now brought back the 5.7 liter Hemi e-torque V8, and the TRX is coming back next year. Hasn't said how much power it's going to have this time around, but since the Ford F-150 Raptor R is now rated for 720 horsepower, you can expect that's probably the baseline. But right now you can get a Ram 1500 with a 650 horsepower supercharged V8. Just don't think about taking it off-road. Fox Factory Vehicles, the new custom truck building arm of Fox, which is known for its shocks and suspension parts, has collaborated with Ram and the Mopar Direct Connection catalog to create the Ram 1500 Lowered DC650. It's a tuned street performance truck that's technically an aftermarket build, but available from Fox through the Direct Connection catalog. It straps a Whipple supercharger onto the 5.7 liter Hemi e-torque V8 that cranks it up from 395 horsepower and 410 pound-feet of torque to 650 horsepower and 600 pound-feet of torque. Suspension's been lowered by 3 inches in the front, 5.5 inches in the rear, and equipped with RideTech coilover shocks, tubular control arms, and traction bars. There's also a front splitter, a tailgate spoiler, and unique 22-inch wheels that come with performance rubber. And of course, plenty of graphics. It's initially being offered on the Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab Night Edition with the Sport Hood, which Fox also put some extra vents in, and is priced at $89,995 complete. For two-wheel drive model, 4x4s, $4,045 extra. So what you have here is a quicker, easier way for Ram to offer a vehicle like this rather than making it a factory model. There are fewer regulations and hoops to go through to bring it to market, although that's not to say Ram won't follow this up with an in-house model in the future. Ram's not the only one doing this. These sort of prepackaged accessory builds are becoming a thing. The Ford Performance catalog has something called the Ford Custom Garage that is a collection of these packages. And there's one for the F-150 that's similar to this Ram setup. It's called the FP700S. Has a supercharger for the 5 liter V8 that increases horsepower from 400 to 700 horsepower. A rear lowering kit, new dampers, a lip splitter, and of course, 22-inch wheels, because it seems like every street truck has to have 22-inch wheels now. Big difference here is that's compatible with a wide variety of F-150 trims and configurations, including a 2-door regular cab truck, which is pretty cool. However, you can also get a street performance Ford F-150 from Fox Factory Vehicles. They already do an F-150 lowered that's similar to the Ram that they offer through their Black Widow brand, which they acquired not too long ago. It's got the 3-inch lowered suspension, the RideTech shocks, 24-inch wheels, front splitter, rear spoiler, the works, and its 5 liter engine is supercharged to 710 horsepower. You can also get it with the regular cab or Super Crew body for around that same $88,000 price point. Now Ford is going to be making its own factory street sport F-150, the upcoming F-150 Lobo, but the updates aren't quite as extreme as these. The engine's the stock 400 horsepower 5 liter V8. The suspension drop is 2 inches. It's basically a dressed up STX, but does get 4x4 system with part-time and full-time settings. As far as General Motors is concerned, it hasn't really taken its factory trucks to the next level. Its high-performance off-road models, the Silverado 1500 ZR2 and the GMC Sierra AT4X, get updated suspensions but stick with the stock 420 horsepower V8 engines. And not only doesn't it have a serious street performance truck yet, also hasn't got into this accessory package game. But guess what? If you want a street performance Silverado, you can get one from Fox Factory Vehicles, of course. And in this case, there are actually 3 engine options. Prices start at $85 grand with a 5.3 liter V8. Go up to 88 grand for that 420 horsepower 6.2 liter V8. But you can also get the 6.2 liter V8 supercharged up to 675 horsepower and 655 pound-feet of torque. which also boosts the price of the truck to around 103 grand. I'm actually surprised Chevy doesn't offer anything like this from the factory yet, especially now that it doesn't sell the Camaro anymore. Between the Colorado and the Silverado 1500, you think there'd be a market for some street performance trucks. But maybe there is on the horizon. The Silverado 1500 is set to be redesigned in 2027, and with all this street truck action going on, you think Chevy might want to get a piece of it. Personally, I'd like to see street versions of the midsize Chevrolet Colorado and GMC Canyon. And the Colorado ZR2's Multimatic DSS-V dampers were first used by Chevrolet on the last Camaro Z28. They were designed for street racing cars before they became an off-road thing. And there is certainly a precedent for it. Rewind with me to the year 1991 when GMC introduced the Cyclone performance pickup. To this date, one of the wildest models you've ever seen in a GMC showroom, or maybe even any General Motors showroom. It was based on the GMC Sonoma pickup truck and was a collaboration with a company called Production Automotive Services, although sold as a factory model, kind of like the Buick GNX that preceded it. It's powered by a 4.3 liter turbocharged V6, rated at 280 horsepower and 350 pound-feet of torque, which was a ton back in those days. And it could accelerate to 60 miles an hour in about 5 seconds and run a 13-second quarter mile, both very quick, regardless of what type of vehicle you're talking about. And an interesting thing about it was it had an all-wheel drive system, not a 4x4 system like most trucks did back then. It also has the claim to fame of being the first pickup truck with a 4-wheel anti-lock braking system. Has starting price around $25,000, which is equivalent to about 60 grand today, and was only available in black. About 3,000 of them were built, which doesn't sound like a lot, but in retrospect, considering the price, the oddity of it, the economy at the time, it actually sounds pretty good. GMC, of course, followed it up with the Typhoon that used the same powertrain, but in the GMC Jimmy SUV's body. It's considered the first performance SUV, and GMC sold more than 4,500 of those. But GM doesn't make a truck-based SUV right now, just crossovers. So if it were to do a performance midsize truck, it would have to be the Colorado or the Canyon. I think that would be fun stuff. And then GM would have something that could compete with the Ford Maverick Lobo, which is Ford's small street performance truck. The Lobo's a lot of fun. It's got a lowered suspension, 250 horsepower turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, quicker steering than the other Mavericks, and a 7-speed transmission instead of the Maverick stock 8-speed, which makes it better suited for autocrosses and small racetracks. And this is a big part of the reason people love trucks. There's so many varieties from the factory, so many things you can do with them in the aftermarket, and I think it's kind of cool that there's the shift from off-road to the street. Not that you should be racing around on the street in these trucks, but they would ride a lot better there, and they are kind of a riot to throw around on an autocross. I mean, come on, NASCAR has the Truck Series. We should have production trucks that reflect that. In fact, thinking about it, Ram's going back to the Truck Series next year, so the DC 650 makes even more sense. I know Ram has a lot more news coming over the course of the next year. Don't know what all it is yet, but when we do, we'll let you know. So like this video and subscribe, and check out American Cars and Racing every day for the latest Ram and street performance pickup news.